It's always more than you could ask or imagine. It's always more than you could expect. There's always more feeling, and there's so much anticipation that goes into an adoption. And so meeting your child for the first time, you have a certain expectation, and it's so much more than you could ever expect. There's a miracle that happens. It's a miracle, and there's no other way to describe it.
And when we were in Ethiopia, when we first got to meet him, when he came out of the transition home, and one of the nannies was carrying him, I don't know, I just felt a great deal of peace and joy, knowing that here this child was left on a street corner. God moved in his life and helped saved him and got him to a position where a family could come in and give him a future. And so it was just really neat to see that unfold and watch him be handed over into Jennifer's arms. You know, kind of a completion of part of the journey that God had started us on.
Standing in front of the America World Transition Home and the nanny walking out with him in her arms and literally placing him in my arms and my heart at that moment was very special. It was a beautiful day and a beautiful time, and the people at America World make it very special also. And I didn't ever want to set him down.
When Ephraim came out, it was more of he kind of leaned away when they put him in our arms, and I was, I guess you have this image of a child running to you and very happy to see you, but the first couple of days were tough. He definitely wanted to be with the nannies and the staff more than us, and so that was something that I didn't anticipate going in.
He wouldn't look at us, he looked down, but he let us hold him, and it was still really special. I think it took a few days for him to warm up to us. Initially, he was very timid, very afraid of us, and although he let us hold him right away, he was still kind of leaning away and wanting to go back to the nannies. And so it just took some time.
The time we got Hope, it was very emotional because, the process was about 14 months. And so for me, it was this longing, and then finally I meet this little girl that we'd prayed for. And very emotional, and it was like God had answered every prayer. She came right to me, and for me, I was a little worried about being African American and what she would think or say or whatever, and she just came right to me. And it didn't matter my color. I was her mom, and she loved me from that moment, and she still does. And so there's a bond there that, we have that's very close and special.
They bonded immediately, miraculously, however you want to say it, and to this day, that bond is still very strong. And we joke about it because in our video that we took, Hope kind of pulls away from me and wants mommy immediately, and she's known her mommy for 10 minutes. And so our next adoption was a little bit different. Mommy tried to bond with Amelia immediately, and it just didn't happen the same way as Hope.
With Amelia, I thought, oh my gosh, this kid waved me off and wants nothing to do with me. And I thought, how, is she gonna like me? And
I realized at that point, we just needed to ask the nanny to go. And so she left the room so Amelia would actually be able to focus with us. And I just took her over to the window in a high rise, and she was screaming, and I looked out the window with her, and I just prayed to God, Lord, please calm this child, calm this situation, Lord, bring peace where there's none. And he did. So she was fist bumping me within the first, 5 minutes of meeting her. So it was a pretty amazing experience.
It was one of those moments where you want her to immediately smile at you and to jump into your arms. And for me, that didn't happen. She adapted to Mandy a little bit quicker than she did myself. But yet it was 2 days later that I was going to leave the hotel room to go get a drink for us. And she screamed and she cried. And while I didn't want to hear her cry, as a dad, I'm sitting there going, oh, thank you. She doesn't want me to leave the room.
I couldn't even breathe for a second. I thought, oh my goodness, we've been waiting for these kids for almost 2 years, and we're getting ready to to lay eyes on them now. So it was time for our Meet-Ya Day, and we lined up to go onto the porch, and we could hear Ruth squealing. I mean, you could hear her just back there, just I mean, remember, she was just laughing. They were just in there squealing. And they came out on that porch, and we couldn't stop crying. I mean, it was the craziest thing. Dibra came out and we hugged her, and we hugged her. Ruth immediately attached herself onto Ed's neck and would not get off of him. Like, she was like attached like glue onto him. And Joshua came out, and my parents were there, and we were all it was the most amazing day to think that we were looking at our kids for the very first time.